Good afternoon. Tonight is Tonight is Wednesday, 9 p.m. My name is Alina Shautsova. I am an immigration attorney from Brooklyn, New York, and we continue our Legally Speaking series. And today's seminar is dedicated to immigration court. I think for any person to be served with summons or notice to appear or order to show cause or any other document that is court related is very stressful. And that's why I take time to speak to my clients to speak in details about what's going to happen in court, what's happening during the first meeting, what happens during the subsequent meetings, and what our chances are and things like that. Apart from the legalities and the sufficiency of our claims or government charges, it's helpful to learn and know and comforting for my clients just to talk about what immigration court is. Well, first of all, an immigration court is an administrative body. It means that it's related to the government. It's different from a regular court because it's basically, if you know a little bit about immigration court, or if you research the judges at least a little bit, you would learn that the judges for the immigration court are appointed by the Attorney General. And the recent trend that I've noticed, of course, one has to apply to be a judge in immigration court. It's a federal position, but the recent trend that I've noticed that many judges are former prosecutors. Some of the judges of course, judges may come from different backgrounds, but that's a recent trend that I've noticed. I'm not sure why it's happening this way. Maybe these people were interested in the positions were available and opened, but many new judges, especially those who were appointed for the New York Immigration Court, are former prosecutors. What does it tell us? Well, I hope that the judges are not biased, of course, but we know all of us are people and we bring our experiences and bias with us wherever we go. So it's true for judges as well. It means that if you're going to be appearing in the immigration court, at least in New York, soon, you need to be aware of this fact and be very well prepared. So immigration court. In New York, where I mostly practice, it's at 26 Federal Plaza. It's a very tall federal building with many floors. New York judges hearing cases on two floors, 12th floor and 14th floor. Basically, when you enter the building, you will have to go through security just like in any regular government building, but then you will need to take the elevator up and go upstairs. And then you won't see pretty much anything except for the board with lists of cases and names of people who are appearing that day before the judges. And there is what's called a master calendar, where all the respondents, all the people who are going to be appear that day, are listed in alphabetical order. And there is calendar for specific judge. You will see the board with the names of the judges, and under the name of a specific judge there will be a list of cases that that judge is hearing that day. And if you know who your judge is, then you should go and check if your name is on the list. If you do not know who your judge is, then you would go to the master calendar, the big calendar in alphabetical order, the long one, and you will find yourself in alphabetical order, your name, and you will see who your judge is, which room you will need to go. And then the floor consists of many rooms. Some of them, they have like a hole before you go into the room, and some of them do not. But basically, the immigration court is just a room, which about maybe 37 square feet or so. I'm not really good at it, but something like that. There is a bench where there is a judge, and to the left or to the right side of the judge, there will be judge's clerk who is talking to the lawyer. Sometimes you would see, and basically the lawyers usually just announce their appearance, that they're here, and some some simple questions they ask the clerk. There are rows for people to see to seat, and there are two tables. One table is for the prosecutor. It's usually, if you face the judge, if you face the court, is going to be to your left. There's a table for the prosecutor, and there is a table to the right. This is a table where you, respondent, will be sitting with your counsel. There can be interpreter present if you need an interpreter. And of course, your family members can attend the hearing most of the times. It's very important for the in certain cases that the family members attend the hearing with you, even if it's a small master hearing. Those are the proceedings where siege case is being siege defense is being claimed. The court, the judges usually would like to see the guardian accompanying the minor who is appearing and the minor who is a respondent. Marriage cases, very often the judges ask, well, where is your wife? You're trying to get adjustment of status. Where is your husband? Where is your wife? So those are the cases when family members are welcomed and should come. So for the first appearance in immigration court, usually is a short appearance. It's just it's called a master calendar. It's an important appearance, nevertheless, because during that master calendar, an attorney or a pro se respondent are going to enter pleadings on the record. Pleadings is your answer to the government charges against you. And pleadings usually look something, the government charges are usually look something like that. You're not a citizen or national of the United States. You entered the United States on or about that day. You do not have you're not currently in possession of a valid visa or status. Or it can be that you are a lawful permanent resident, but on such and such date you were convicted of such and such charge. And then there is sometimes a second page to this list of accusations stating that you're removable because, or you're deportable because of statute of law 237 something something. So those are the charges, and the pleadings usually would look something like that. Respondent admits allegations 1 through 4. If the respondent applies for asylum, the respondent will say that he or she respectfully declines to designate a country of removal and asks the court to grant a relief of so and so and so and so, whatever relief you and your lawyer decided to apply for or you qualify for. That's usually what happens during the master hearing. Of course, also master hearing is a time for the lawyer to submit certain applications in open court, especially application for asylum, withholding of removal, and relief on the Convention Against Torture. During the master calendar hearing, the judge can also offer you or your attorney dates for the individual hearing or the other master hearing. If the judge decides that it will be productive for you or your lawyer to get an adjournment, maybe to prepare a submission or to get some other relevant information for your case, whatever the case might be, or maybe you're waiting for an application to be granted, so the judge may adjourn and grant another master, appoint another master calendar for you. But that's what's happening during the master calendar hearing. There is another type of hearing in immigration court, and that's called an individual hearing. This is the hearing one where your fate as a respondent in the United States is decided. This is the time for your lawyer and for you. It's like a mini trial, basically, to prove that you do qualify and you're entitled to the relief you're asking for. Certain forms of reliefs and certain applications are done without or outside the frames of these two hearings. For example, motion to terminate the proceedings or administratively close the proceedings, or a request for prosecutorial discretion. That's not done in court. That's done on paper. Basically, there are no hearings about that. But that's what's happening in immigration court. For a lawyer, for a person who goes there every day, it's of course less stressful than for a respondent. even though every good lawyer that I know still has to take the time, including me, even though I'm not bragging, but you have to take time to prepare for each and every individual hearing, because each and every case is different. There are different issues that may come up. Maybe it's an issue of an expert. Um, maybe it's an issue of the documents, whether they are real or they're fraudulent documents, and tons of different other issues. It's always for a lawyer and for the respondent, it's a serious matter when you appear in front of the judge. Especially so because everything that you say in court, you will be bound by your words and promises. If you say to the judge that you entered, or your lawyer says to the judge that you entered in 2001, and later you decided to say that you entered in 2003, entered the country, it's going to be a problem because the judge has a record. Yes, I forgot to mention that everything that is said during the hearing is being recorded. Immigration court uses the voice recording system, but you can get, if you must get that, transcripts of the proceedings as well. What to expect? Usually during the master calendar hearing, nothing drastic should happen unless it's not the first master calendar hearing and something happened that you absolutely did something crazy and the court decided to rule against you right then and there. During the individual hearing, this is the time when the judge is going to be issuing an order, or the judge is going to listen to the parties and after that issue um, his or her decision in writing. So the judge may issue oral decision in the form of an oral decision, or it might be in the form of a written decision. It doesn't really matter because both forms are acceptable and have the full force. That's what usually happens in immigration court in a nutshell. If you have more questions, if you are looking for representation, I do suggest that you find an attorney for yourself because there is special language that lawyers are using that you will have to get yourself familiar before you represent yourself. There are special rules of document submission and how you can refer to the judge, how you can communicate with the prosecutor and what you need to do. So if you do decide to represent yourself, you should start with reading Immigration Court Practice Manual. That outlines the procedure for submission of different documents, who and when and how can appear in front of the immigration court. So that's going to be very helpful for you to learn. I hope that short video helped you at least a little bit. You are always welcome to visit my website, www.shautsova.com, to read more about the immigration court. And just remember, we're always a phone call away. Thank you.